Welcome to the Champion Series event, part 2 opening round. And if you haven't already, do check qualifying out. It is a bunch of great racing. But you're back here to watch opening round, 8 live races, 4 brought to you on today's video. And what will them races be? Well, them races will be Brazil, Singapore, Italy and the United Kingdom of Silverstone. And then tomorrow we'll show you Belgium, Japan, Canada and Zandvoort. We've got Hamilton and Alonso boosted this weekend and they will become our main drivers, and we're using the same car parts as normal. Looking at the league so far, well, Music Man has gone and done his business again, hasn't he? 8 races, 376 points, and in qualifying he also scored 376 points. So as a W, F1 has got to give it his best shot. We scored max in the first round, and in opening round, we have to score max again. So, shall we get into it? Shall we get race 1 underway? Let's do it. Sao Paulo. And also, a little quick request before we get into it. A massive shout out to Xavi, who is 9 years old, and his dad messaged me to ask him for a shout out. It would make his Christmas. And here you go, Xavi. Good luck. I know you play the game. I know you watch the videos. And as always, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Here we go, the important races of opening round. And we've got a difficult matchup first of all, and we'll be hoping to overcome it the best that we can. So we qualify P4 and P5, and we're going to stick on our very best boosts that we can overcome. So Alonso is going to get Voice and Hamilton is going to get Dead Fast. This is the fastest lap track this weekend. So you've got to be making sure that you count your fastest laps on a tiebreaker. So here we go. 4 rounds of racing right here, right now. And can Fernando Alonso get a good start up the inside? He gets straight through the middle. We're both straight through with both drivers. And that already is P1 and P2. And now I'm going to basically absolutely push with Alonso. We want the fastest lap. And we're going to be pushing in a minute with Hamilton as well. So we're going to be pushing both drivers. Probably later on. I might go, thinking about it, I might go back to softs with Alonso. And just do as many laps as I can, full throttle. To try and get a fast lap. But we are P1 and P2. We've used the Voice, which is the speed and acceleration and the grip. And our Dead Fast gives us the speed, the fuel to push even further. And also the tyre management part as well. So far, we've got a 4.1 second gap over the medium tyre. And we're just going to carry on all the way around and do the 4 laps. We're going to come in for some softs, push as far as we can, pit late on, and we should be able to still get out in front. Usually I would go mediums, but we're going to test and see if I can go ahead and get a faster lap than Music Man. So we are P1, P2. Hamilton's still got them 2 behind, which is absolutely perfect. And we're going to push a little bit just to create some more gap. And we are going to come back and do a pit stop on Alonso. We're going to car service. And we've got a safety car. Safety car is out. So we are going to go for softs, because they will be able to see us through to the very end and we'll be able to boost all the way to the finish. So that has helped our fast lap strategy as he comes into the pits now. Alonso into the pits. The team have readied soft tyres and also soft tyres for Lewis Hamilton. They're going to be double pit stopping, and Alonso comes out safely into the lead. Hamilton in, Alonso in as well, but Hamilton of the Mercedes carries on round, and at the minute is P2 behind the safety car. So 1 car to overtake. That car should peel off to the pits at the end of this lap, and it'll be a bad call by the rival, leaving Lewis Hamilton out. So the suspense is waiting for a decent lap here. We'll be pushing right to the end on these tyres. We've got a chance at a fastest lap. A very good fastest lap as well, because that's what it could come down to. Not necessarily today, it's going to matter most tomorrow, but a bit of fun, should we not? And here we go. So Alonso puts on the burners and Hamilton carries on round. That's quite a surprise as he's going for 6 laps. Now Alonso and Hamilton will absolutely stretch away into the distance, into the sunset, and they'll be absolutely dancing like the Brazilians do. And these two now, it's up to them to get a fast lap under the belt. Alonso's got the fastest sector 2, and he comes across the line to start lap 7. Hamilton not far behind in P2 as the rival now pits, and he'll be pitting for soft tyres, but it's not going to matter for us. We're going to catch some back markers. They could affect our basically fastest laps, but we're not caught up to them just yet as Alonso takes the grass and he cuts that grass, saves the groundsman a job, and Alonso and Hamilton now both through on the last lap, and Alonso's not going to get a fastest lap this time, so we're going to leave Hamilton push him, and we should be able to nicely get through to a P1 and P2 in the very first race. Absolutely needed. And as Hamilton comes up the straight, we through P1 for Lewis Hamilton, P2 for Fernando Alonso, and in the very first race we start off with a very handy 47 points. So we have race number 2 at Singapore, and it's going to make hopefully good reading in this race. Let's see where we qualify for race 2. And after a beautiful start, we get P3 and P4. And we're going to set out the strategies nice and early here. So we're going to go a rooster on Lewis Hamilton. And we're also going to go an eagle on Fernando Alonso. And this is in the hope that if Alonso can't get through, we can hold up the field with Lewis Hamilton. So here we go, 7 laps of Singapore, and we're away. And we're doing the boost start, and Lewis Hamilton right up the inside of Lewis, and Fernando Alonso just tucking into P3 but loses a position into P4. But it's like a yo-yo because Alonso is back round P3 and now into P2. So P1 and P2, we've got Hamilton with the rooster, so we're going to get Alonso nice and early ahead of him, and this will settle us down into a nice early rhythm. P1 and P2. And this is what we want to keep for the rest of the race. To give you an indication of the boost, so we've obviously got Rooster, which is not the best for this track. However, I want the blocking. And we've got Eagle with grip and tyre management, which enables me to do 4 laps on the soft tyre, followed by 3 laps. So we'll start lap 2. Lewis Hamilton following Lewis Hamilton quite comfortably at the moment. I think Lewis in P3, the AI is on the medium tyre. So we will have no issue there. And for me, it's going to require a perfect weekend. It's going to require 47 points across the board. And you can see there, he is on medium tyres in P3. So he won't trouble us. He'll be going for 4 laps. We'll be going for 4 laps. But we'll be boosting in on the 4th lap to create the gaps. It's going to be a big weekend. If you're not using Hamilton and Alonso, you're going to be missing out. That 10% boost is an absolute wonderful boost. It helps your team score as well, especially with using Alonso. I think for a lot of us, Alonso becomes our best driver, or at least our second best driver. So you've got to be using him as well. Lap 3, halfway through, and we're about to start pushing with Fernando. We are P1, P2, nice and easy, no dramas. 27 degrees, drivers are going to be taking on board their water because it is a fairly warm one out there as we start to now boost Alonso. So we want to create the gap for the pit stop. So we've got Alonso on full boost, Hamilton on medium boost, just to create about 4.5 seconds. And we've got a 3.3 second gap at the moment. So if you're going to use the same strategy, you've always got to make 4 seconds in, there's about another 4 seconds in and out the pits altogether. So you've got around an 8-second loss. But for us, 4-second pit stop is where we're at. And that's what the gap we need to watch out for. We are, though, nice and easy round in Singapore. There's Alonso coming in for his pit stop now. Back for the soft tyres. And he is in. Hopefully a sub 4 second will be nice. Not quite, 4.2. And Alonso back out full boost to the end. Hamilton nearly sub 4, 4.05, but back out in P2. And we are now going to be pushing all the way to the end just to absolutely concrete this P1, P2 47-point run. Rivals had no chance. He's now pitting for lap P11. Alonso is coming out P12, and he's also got another car still to pit. So they won't trouble us. The AI hopefully won't trouble us. And even the safety car after race 1, hopefully the safety car doesn't trouble us either for the rest of this GP. Alonso starts lap 6, and we're coming up to the back markers. We've lapped a couple already. And it is swimmingly very good at the minute. But Music Man's out there. He set the benchmark, 47 points. We need to hit 47 points across the board. But it's tomorrow where it counts. Anything can happen tomorrow. That's where the money is made. That's where the prizes are made. And that's where Leviathan will finally come to AZW F1. He hopes. Last lap on Fernando. It's felt like a really long race, this has. Feels like we've been racing for absolute an age without any real competition. As a component fails on Lewis. And we're on for a lap. We see Lewis Hamilton there broken down. And Fernando Alonso probably a quarter of the lap left to cement 47 points. As we go around. So Fernando Alonso will win the Singapore Grand Prix for AZW F1. Lewis Hamilton will follow shortly with P2. And that is a very solid 47 points to start off this second race of the GP. Long may it continue, but for now, 47 points. Happy, happy days indeed. Race 3 then, Monza in Italy. And I believe we've got a decent matchup here. And I'm hoping for a race just like the last. We're P2 and P3, rival P6 and P10. So we're going to chuck on some boosts. So what we're going to use? We're going to use Dead Fast on Alonso. And I'm going to use Gladiator on our Hamilton to basically hold up the field if need be, just to create the gap. But here we go then. 8 laps of Monza and we are away. And Fernando Alonso gets a very good start. P1 and P2 for Lewis. And that's exactly what we needed in this start. So we're just going to cut them down. We don't need to push too hard. And we're going to go for a 3-3-2, I'm thinking, in this race. That's the strategy that we're going for. And I think that's what's going to be nice and easy to get through. As we start lap 2. So lap 2 underway. And we have got a nice gap back to Hamilton indeed. With Alonso just cruising out in front. So it's plain sailing at the moment. But we never know what will happen as Fernando comes through. And we're going to have to start creating the gap at some point. We've got Lewis back in P3 of the Mercedes. But he's not troubling us at the moment. And obviously that Gladiator still gives us the speed and the fuel. The only thing it doesn't give is the tyre management, as Dead Fast does. And obviously it's a bit stronger on speed. Or not so strong, I should say. It's level 4 on speed for Gladiator. 5 for Dead Fast. And we start lap 3. So we'll be coming into the pits this lap. And we're going to start pushing towards the end. And we're going to get our drivers in. We've only got a 1.5 second gap at the minute. But we're only going to have a sort of 2 second pit stop. 2.5 seconds. So in comes Alonso. We'll probably stack a little bit. But it's not going to hurt us too much. And hardly at all. So 2.94 seconds for Alonso. Hamilton 2.91, slightly quicker. And he's back out in P4. And now we're just going to cruise because we're not that far behind. We've got probably Verstappen in P3, who will be pitting this lap. and we've got the Mercedes ahead of us who will also be pitting this lap. So we don't need to push, but we do have a safety car. So Sebastian Vettel has crashed in Sector 1, and I tell you now, that is not what we needed. We were absolutely about to fly through this race, and now we're going to have to go all the way around on a very slow safety car and see. I mean, we've only just pitted, so there's no point pitting again. We may lose too many positions, but Lewis Hamilton gets back out in first. We would have definitely lost a couple of positions. Hamilton out in P3. I mean, we could have probably pitted for mediums, maybe, in hindsight. But who knows? So let's get this safety car out the way at the end of this lap. We're sitting P2 and P3. We've got hard tyres around us, so we're going to be pretty quick at the end compared to them hard drivers. And it's going to be our best hope, really. We've got to push, and we will be pushing. But we've got to get past Lewis Hamilton very, very quickly. He's on the soft tyres. So this is make or break, actually, for us here. We're in P2, P3. So we know we're absolutely fine on that, but we've still got to get another lap in. We missed any opportunity to pit. But I do feel with the softs, we're going to have a good solid lap here and be able to push ahead of them hard tyres. So, we're about to get going again in Italy. We're about to get going with Lewis Hamilton leading the way out the last corner. The safety car will peel off to the pits. And it is race time in Monza again. And we've got to hope that we can get up the inside. Can Alonso get past? He gets blocked. Hamilton up the inside though. Hamilton gets through. Alonso squeezed to the outside and Hamilton blocks him off. And now with this lap to go, we've got to start getting past that Lewis Hamilton and stretching away from the hard tyres. However, we've not got the best tyre management and we can't pit now either. So one more lap we're going to do. And we're going to still push on. So Hamilton's got a lap, but he's on the softs. So he's still got a 6.7 gap. And that will only grow. Alonso's in P3 still, with Hamilton still to pit. And he'll come back in for softs. We're not going to service. It's our last lap pit. As Hamilton comes around P1 and he'll be pitting. We're going to run out of tyres just at the end of this, but we've pushed him as hard as we can. Alonso we're pushing hard as well, and he now gets ahead of Hamilton. And Lewis is now in the pit. So we're going to stack a little bit again, I think, here. Probably a good second. Or not. 2.8. We're straight back out into the lead. What about Alonso? Alonso gets out in P3. Oh, no. Oh, no. P5 now. How we've dropped down to P5. We should have been out in P3 there. Should have been out in P3. That was ours. At least P4. And now Hamilton coming through is going to win this race comfortably. And we're going to be in P5. Unless, oh, what a move. Alonso up to P3 and it's a race for P2. P2 coming around the last corner. We're right behind now with Verstappen on the hards. Can Alonso one more chance? No. We have dropped a point. We have been ruined by the safety car. Ruined by the safety car for 46 points. Race number 4 of opening round. And after that absolute disaster, and it wasn't really a disaster because we still scored 46 points, but in terms of battling Music Man at the top, that 1 point could absolutely cost us a shot at first place this weekend. So Silverstone in the rain, and we're going Tune In and Hex, and we're against a Max account here, I think. So I believe it is a Max account that we are against. So here we go then, lights out and away we will go for the final race of opening round that you get to see. And Hamilton, P4, 3-3 off the start. Can we get into P1? We can. What about Fernando Alonso? Fernando Alonso trying around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Can't make it stick. But what about down the main part of this straight? Can we go up the inside? We can. We can snatch P1 and P2 against this Max account in the first sector of this race. And now it's a case of managing and absolutely praying that we don't get ruined by any more safety cars. We'll start lap 2. And remember, on Silverstone, if you've watched my track guide in the wet, most of the cars will all pit lap 3 for wet tyres. So if you look after your tyres and boost through lap 4, you will be absolutely loving life as you make up a ton of positions from where you may have started. But we're P1 and P2, and the chances are, having raced this race so many times, that in around lap 3, when we come into pit lap 4, we'll be in the pits the same time as the back markers of lap 3. That's what usually happens, and I wouldn't put it past it happening again. As we're on lap 3, and we are just managing the gap out front, P1 and P2. Make sure you do check out the free-to-play account videos in a playlist of its own, and I'll be bringing you the GP weekend on around Tuesday or Thursday next week, so do give that a watch. So, lap 4, we'll start to boost now with both drivers. We'll bring them in the pits this lap, and what I'll do is I'll show you that most of the people in front of us, or even behind actually, they're probably closer in front, will start to pit. You can see just then Alonso for the rival was coming into pit, and Hamilton now absolutely flying. So Hamilton's about to come into the pits just now, and Hamilton is in. And what did I tell you? It's pit chaos in here, as we're going to stack a little bit, but there's no harm. And I told you, all the field tend to pit on lap 3 in the wet, and that's exactly what's happened here. So by going lap 4, we just got to the back markers, and now it's a case of flying through the back markers on our way to 47 points. Even a safety car can't ruin us now. But P2 for Alonso and P1 Hamilton, I've got to still get 47s in the rest of the races. However, I've got to hope for a miracle tomorrow. So we're going to boost again, Hamilton and Alonso. The reason we cut down was because it's 2 to 4 on the wet tyres, and you'll just run out just at the end as we start to go through the field. Perez P19 being lapped. Don't know what's happened to the Red Bull there, but it's definitely not good for him. As we go past K-Mag, and we are through with 1.5 laps to go. And now we will not be, unless we crash. And look at Alonso on that Hex, proving that Hex is still absolutely beautiful of a boost to use in the wet. It is very quick. Tune-in's quick through the corners, but Hex, with a run-up into a corner, Hex is unbelievable. You can see Hamilton just creating that gap again through the corners into the straight and around. So you'll see now, coming through Maggots and Beckett's, how quick Alonso is. Watch this, Hamilton nice and steady through, but Alonso absolutely like a train coming through for P1 and P2, and we're going to finish with a near photo finish, separated by about 0.2 of a second, 47 points. What a race in the end, just holding on to the tyres as well. And that is a perfect end to a near perfect opening round stint. We've got the rival in P3 and P4. But we've done our best. We got a curveball in Monza. We scored as many points as we could. Sadly, it wasn't the 47. But we're still going to get pretty much 1 point dropped out of the 4. So it's still a good weekend so far. But it's all about tomorrow. And that account we played was a 1807 team score. And let's have a look what they are rocking as well when we click on debrief. We've got level 8 Hamilton and Alonso, and the car was absolutely maxed out as well. So we did well to score and overcome that then. But let's have a look where we are currently. 4 races in, we are 187 points. Just the 1 point drops, like I said. And we went 47, 47, 46, 47. And our lap was a 23.331 we managed to do all the way back in Brazil. And if we look at the leaderboards, we've got Music Man sitting pretty at the top as always. 376, so he's maxed. He's got all 47s. So we have got a lot to do. Hope you enjoyed that one. Check me out again tomorrow for final round. And I'll catch you in the next one.